Hey, how's it going? It's Lil Head. I'm bringing you today something that really doesn't happen around here, and it's a comparison between a low-end gaming card and a higher-end card. Yes, in particular, I'm talking about my old R9 270 compared to my RX 480. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, why is he comparing these two cards? Well, for a lot of people that was in the same situation that I was in, you do your initial build, you probably start out with a low-end card. Then over the course of a few years, you probably see all these newer cards coming out, and you're like, okay, how does my current or old low-end card compared to these newer mid-grade cards? So this pretty much this video trying to give you an example of how that looks. So if anyone was in my situation, you'll see this video, you probably think it'll help. If anyone else, provide the information to your friends if they got something similar. All right, so how we're gonna get this started is tell you about my current build. So my current build have a Crosshair V Formula Z motherboard, AMD FX 8350 8-core processor running at 4 gigahertz, H55 all-in-one, CPU cooler with two 120mm static pressure fans running push-pull, 24 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, 1600 megahertz, 500 gigabyte Samsung 850 EVO SSD, Cooler Master V750 PSU inside my Corsair Carbide 330R silent case running two 140mm airflow intake fans. Alright, now the cards we got in question, the MSI R9 270, base clock running at 900 megahertz, boost clock 975 megahertz, 2 gigabytes of GDDR RAM, 256-bit interface, running at a clock speed of 5600 megahertz, and the Sapphire RX 480 base clock 1120 megahertz, boost clock 1266 megahertz, 4 gigabytes of GDDR5, 256-bit interface, running at a memory clock of 8000 megahertz. Now these tests that I ran were using Unigine Heaven, Unigine Valley, and Firestrike. All tests were ran using stock settings. I went to Radeon Crimson software on the global settings and turned everything to default by clicking reset graphic settings and reset shader settings. This will perform on both cards. I also ran the basic and the extreme versions of Heaven and Valley on both cards, and then I ran the regular Firestrike. Alright, so first up we got Heaven basic benchmark for both cards. So first we got the R9 270 scoring an average of 64 with a low of 22 and a high of 118. RX 480 scoring an average of 111 with a low of 24 and a high of 203. Next to the extreme benchmarks of Heaven, where the R9 270 scored an average frame per second of 24 with a low of 12 and a high of 55. RX 480 scoring an average of 51 with a low of 19 and a high of 124. Now on to the Valley benchmarks, where the R9 270 scored an average frame per second of 47 with a low of 18 and a high of 62. The RX 480 scoring an average frame per second of 61 with a low of 20 and a high of 99. Now the extreme versions of those, where the R9 270 scores an average of 28 with a low of 15 and a high of 52. RX 480 scoring an average of 49 with a low of 21 and a high of 89. Now onto the Firestrike, where the R9 270 scored at 4642 and the RX 480 scoring a 7969. Now one thing I want you to note is that both of these cards score higher since my original benchmarks were performed, and the latest scores for both cards are the R9 270s end up scoring a 5006 and the RX 480 end up scoring a 8547. Now this was done after the Crimson update on July 9th. I also ran Doom on both cards with ultra settings, but I couldn't really get a good video capture with OBS. So basically I'm gonna tell you my experience. So the R9 270 would have frame drops as low as 25 to 30 frames per second, and it'll feel fairly choppy. And the RX 480 would be anywhere between like 45 and about 55. So it'd be still playable. And that's pretty much all I've got. If you got any questions, feel free to comment. If you like this video, hit the like button.